Gravity, the invisible force that shapes our universe. It holds the moon in orbit, keeps our feet on the ground, and carves galaxies from clouds of dust. We live with it every second, rarely questioning it. But imagine this. What if, overnight, Earth's gravity suddenly became 10% stronger? Would life carry on as normal? Or would our world collapse under its own weight? Let's begin close to home. With you. A person weighing 70 kilograms would instantly feel like they weighed 77. That's the same as carrying a heavy backpack you can never take off. Every step would demand more effort. Walking a mile would feel like climbing uphill. Running would leave you exhausted twice as fast. Sports would change dramatically. Basketball players would jump lower. High jumpers would never reach their current records. Even throwing a ball would feel off. It would arc downward more sharply and travel a shorter distance. A simple game of catch would feel heavier. And daily tasks? Carrying groceries, climbing stairs, even standing upright for hours at work. All would strain your muscles far more than before. Life wouldn't stop, but it would become tougher, slower, and more exhausting. But the real challenge would be inside the body. Stronger gravity means your heart must fight harder to pump blood upward against the pull of Earth. Blood pressure would rise. People with weak hearts might collapse. The human spine, already compressed during the day, would face even greater stress, leaving people shorter, achiever, and more prone to back problems. Our bones would also be under constant extra strain. Over time, they might grow denser and thicker, while muscles would bulk up simply to handle daily life. Children born in this new world could evolve shorter and sturdier bodies, because tall, slender frames would struggle to cope. And what about animals? Birds would face an especially difficult time. To fly, they must generate lift equal to their body weight. With more gravity, their wings would need far more energy. Some species might adapt by developing stronger chest muscles or larger wings, but many would simply stop flying altogether. Insects famous for leaping or hovering would see their range cut dramatically. Even land animals would change. Giraffes, for example, already pump blood up long necks. In a heavier world, that might become nearly impossible. Now think about our technology. Every skyscraper, every bridge, every airplane is engineered with gravity in mind. Add 10% more weight to everything, and stress increases across the board. Bridges could sag. Towers could crack. Elevators would need stronger cables. Engineers would scramble to redesign infrastructure before disaster struck. Air travel would become more expensive and less reliable. Airplanes must generate enough lift to overcome gravity. With a 10% increase, runways would need to be longer, fuel consumption would rise, and planes would carry fewer passengers or cargo. Flying might return to being a luxury only a few can afford. And rockets? They already require enormous energy to break free of Earth's pull. A 10% increase could mean rockets need significantly more fuel, larger engines, and higher costs. Space exploration, already difficult, could grind to a halt. But gravity doesn't just affect people and machines. It reshapes the entire environment. The oceans, pulled harder by gravity, would press more firmly against coastlines. Sea levels could rise slightly, and tides, already influenced by the moon, would grow more powerful. Stronger tides mean stronger currents, which could erode coastlines and change ecosystems. The atmosphere would be pulled closer to Earth's surface. Air pressure at sea level would rise, making breathing slightly harder. Clouds would form lower, storms could grow stronger, and winds might shift in unexpected ways. The weather, already unpredictable, could become even more violent. Underground, Earth's molten core and tectonic plates would feel the difference too. A heavier pull could slightly alter the flow of magma, possibly influencing volcanic eruptions and earthquakes. Even if the changes were subtle, over centuries, the planet's geology could evolve in new and surprising directions. Let's zoom out for a moment. Earth's gravity is a delicate balance. Increase it by just 10%, and we notice dramatic changes. But compare that to other worlds, and you'll see how fragile our situation really is. On Mars, gravity is only about 38% of Earth's. A person weighing 70 kilograms here would feel just 26 kilograms there. You could leap high into the air, carry heavy loads, and run with ease, though the thin atmosphere would make breathing impossible without a suit. On Jupiter, however, the story flips. Gravity there is about 2.5 times stronger than Earth's. that same 70-kilogram person would feel like they weighed 180 kilograms. You wouldn't be able to stand, let alone walk. Your bones would shatter. You would be crushed in seconds. In this cosmic context, a 10% increase seems small. But for life adapted so precisely to Earth's conditions, it's enormous. But what if gravity didn't stop at 10%? Imagine 20, 50, or even 100% stronger gravity. At some point, tall mountains would collapse under their own weight. Buildings would crumble. Human bodies, even with evolution, might not survive. If gravity doubled, Earth's atmosphere would compress into a thicker blanket, trapping more heat and possibly making the planet uninhabitable. Our bones would snap under the pressure. Life might only exist in the oceans, where buoyancy counters gravity's pull. These scenarios remind us that the laws of physics set the limits of what's possible. Push them too far, and life as we know it disappears. Gravity is constant, invisible, unchanging, or so it seems. Yet this silent force determines the shape of every step, every building, every drop of rain. Increase it by just 10%, and humanity would face a heavier, harder life. We'd adapt, yes. We'd survive, probably. But our world would feel different forever. And maybe that's the lesson. We live in a universe of balance, a razor-thin harmony of forces that makes life on Earth possible. Alter one of them, even slightly, and everything changes. So the next time you walk, jump, or simply stand tall, remember the invisible hand holding you to this planet. Gravity doesn't just keep us grounded. It defines the world we live in. And if it grew stronger, even by 10%, our lives would never be the same.